Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Guardian Radio Today is brought to you by Alive, Burger King, The Cleveland Clinic, Commonwealth Bank, Epic Battery, Popeyes, Prince Masters, Rods Electric Motors, and The Shoe Depot.
And good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Guardian Radio Today, the September 3rd edition. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, and we have another exciting show for you today. I have a guest in the first hour of the show, and that prompted the actual topic for today's show, which is how does your mental state affect your ability to learn and properly process Scripture? How does your mental state? Now, and I know we have back to school happening now. The dynamics have shifted, right? Traffic is, you got to re-navigate, traffic in the morning. You got to re-navigate traffic in the afternoon and the evenings. Homework is a reality again. Not to mention those children who have to graduate soon. There's a different urgency with them. They have a different uniform for their senior year. I mean, there are a whole lot of different things going on. I mean, then of course there are those who are starting university. But generally around this time of year, obviously the tourist industry is kind of slow, so hotels are not as full as they normally are. So I don't know. People may not actually, have the same type of work that they normally do. But we're here to have a conversation that I pray will assist you in the first half of the show. In the second half of the show, we're gonna jump back into some of the topics that we were discussing yesterday. But Kermit, my guess is saying they may have the wrong link. I had used the link that you gave me earlier. That link didn't change, right? Okay, so we're going to get our guest on in just a second. Her name is Dr. Nicole Ford. And, sorry, I'm just making sure she has the right link so she can come in through Zoom. I'm just sharing it right now. But ultimately, listeners, the reality of how your mental and it's interesting because we didn't plan, to I didn't know C.A. Nuri and Aaron Green were, having a similar conversation with regard to mental health and counseling, etc. So this kind of segues into that. But there's a lot of mental stress that people are not necessarily talking about. I think people are, for whatever reason, not necessarily aware of some of the signs that may be arising based on just having some mental challenges. I think oftentimes when people are having mental challenges, it's a situation where just making sure I have this to the right. What's up? But when people are having mental challenges, we like to self-medicate. We like to, maybe just withdraw. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily easy to talk to every and anybody because I ain't gonna lie, we just judge people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll you have people who will pretend to be helping you in one breath, and then in another instance they talking about you, right? You confiding in them, you're showing them your vulnerable side, and now they are looking at you different. And so all of this goes into today's conversation, but we also add a scriptural component because we understand that as a country that ultimately prides itself on being a Christian country, if we're not assessing our mental state, and Kermit, I don't know if everyone just take a look at what the guests are seeing. I'm gonna resend what he sent me, Dr. Ford, because I really want to get you in here. I know Uni, and she's in the middle of her work day. I know she has a patient not too long after this. I just resent you the link, Dr. Ford. But you know, if we're not honest about that same conversation that Aaron and C.A. Nuri had on Guardian Radio AM just now, where people actually have a place where they can actually just be honest, just be vulnerable, just take the time to share what's going on with them. You know what I mean? I think sometimes in a family, adults may not want to show children their vulnerabilities because, you're supposed to be the adult. You know what I mean? You ain't supposed to be having difficult times. I mean, that's how some children think, right? Some adults keep that facade up in order to, make things seem better than they actually are, right? And I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do that. That's why we're bringing an expert in to explain our way around some of these difficult discussions. You may be at work. You may be the team leader. Who does the team leader go to when the team leader is having some difficulties, right? If the team leader shows any weakness or vulnerabilities, are they team leader material, right? When we talk about scripture, are we only talking about the Bible? Are we only talking about, monotheistic scriptures? Or are we talking about the reality that in ancient times, we looked at our sciences and our social sciences and our cultural realities as a scripture. We studied those with the same intensity that we would a Bible or a Quran, right? These are all the questions that I have for our guest, and I pray that she gets on and Zoom right now. I'm just checking to see. Just let me know when you're in. But we don't take mental health as serious as other places. I think she's in now. We don't take mental health as serious as some other countries, and I think these are steps to assisting us in actually being able to do that. If unfortunately we don't get there, then we're gonna see the self. When I say self-medicating, I mean you sitting under the tree smoking and drinking. I don't just mean you going to the pharmacy to get pharmaceuticals, but you trying to find a way to escape, right? But our guest today is none other than Dr. Nicole Ford. All right, she's a licensed clinical professional counselor with over 15 years of experience working in both private and public sectors. And she sees so much more, right? I'm going to let her add to that short bio. But Dr. Ford, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Welcome to Let's Get It Right Wednesday.
Go a little closer to your mic so we can hear you nice and clear.
Let me go ahead.
Ah, yeah, that's a lot better. That's a lot better.
Nice and clear.
Yes, yes, yes. So give our listening audience just. I know I gave just a brief introduction to who you are, but let the listening audience know who the conscious counselor is, please.
Greetings, everyone. My Bahama family. I am Dr. Nicole Ford coming to you live and direct. I am actually in Chicago right now.
Okay.
I'm coming from the
Wow.
United States,
Okay.
right? And I'm
Yes.
actually coming to you. I am just one of those, ladies of true faith, right? I
Yes.
am a Nazarite or striving to become
Mm-hmm.
a Nazarite. And so in this conversation today,
Mm-hmm.
right, I would like us to be able to talk about how our mental states affects our ability to learn
Mm-hmm.
and kind of properly process the scriptures,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so in the process of this, we're going to be talking a little psychology. We're going to throw a little Bible in there.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about faith, but we're going to keep it relevant. And we're going to be talking about things that's actually happening right now in Bahamas today.
Wow, that's powerful. That's exactly the type of conversation we need to have. So, Dr. Ford, let's just jump right into it.
Yes. So,
What is a mental state? We talk about this idea of a mental state. What is that to the
we're going to
layperson?
keep it simple.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it simple. A person's mental state is just their condition of their mind, but their mind includes their thoughts, their feelings, how they perceive things, their beliefs, their desires, their emotions, and their memory. Right.
Okay.
And so when you're looking at it from, a Christian perspective, as people that, read the Bible and have faith, sometimes these emotions pop up in the Bible, right? They might be in Genesis 2:25 that talks about shame.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or depression, Genesis 4:5, with countenance dropping, being low, right? Or even sometimes it talks about grief and mourning in Matthew 5:4.
Okay.
So the Bible is full of wisdoms and things about mental health. But now we got to talk about the ability, right? Because how you think, how you feel affects the choices that you make, the habits that you engage in, the lifestyle decisions that you do each and every day. So your ability is just your ability to do. You're just being able to act. That includes your talents, your mental endowments. So for example, Ephesians 3:20, right? Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us. That power in that verse that's your ability.
Okay.
Those are your talents, right? And those talents sometimes are given to us genetically, but sometimes we have to learn, right? Learning is getting knowledge, it's something cultivated, it's studying and reading and thinking about it. So Proverbs 1:5, let the wise hear and increase in learning. So when we talk about how does your mental state affect your ability to learn and properly process the scriptures, we're talking about that your ability to look at scriptural information. This is going to be about your focus, your memory, your emotional responses. What are your values and ethics? And so, as Nazarites, we teach the most potent organ of the human body is the brain.
Okay. Okay.
It's the seat of both your knowledge and your ignorance. So when I was young and I was out there in the club, and if I was drinking alcohol or I was hanging with people, that was a conscious decision. I was using my brain to make that choice.
True.
Right? Or if a person decides, I want to go to school, I want to become a doctor, instead of going to the parties, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit the library.
Right.
I'll party later. I'm going to make my sacrifices. So the brain is the seat of either knowledge or ignorance. And so your habits can either make you be in bondage because now you have to go ahead and do things to support those habits to increase that pleasure, or your liberation.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, I wanted to have this conversation today because I think oftentimes as a people, we have tools available to us that we don't necessarily, I wouldn't say we don't know how to use them, in all instances. We had a show recently with Dr. Varma, and he made a good point. He said a lot of people just don't read the Bible to begin with, right? So you got to at least be reading it. But even for those people who are reading it, you're bringing a different perspective. You're a counselor, so you're seeing people who have issues on a daily basis, right? And are you finding that sometimes the issues that people are having are based off of the fact that they're not properly processing scripture or just in general? I mean, what are you seeing?
Yes. You know, and I'm a very hopeful person, right? But I want to make sure that when I'm talking to the people listening today, get close to your speakers now. Today, the challenge for people of faith and many others is we believe the negative self-talk we have.
Wow.
And as a result,
Dr. Ford, let me tell you, I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm just going to be honest.
believe it.
The self-doubts are real. Yeah.
You know, those negative thinking patterns, right? And as a result, we create limited beliefs.
Wow.
That limit our possibilities. And we believe this ongoing script, this ongoing narrative. And the reality is we have more power within ourselves. John 1:5, the light shineth in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. Right?
So hold on. As my brother Kahun Mantuta would say, stick a pin for a second, right? You're saying to me that there is a power that is linked to the self-talk, the thoughts
Yes.
I don't want to run past that. I really want you to build on that, please.
Yes. So a lot of times people don't know if anybody right now, I want you to go to Google. Everybody, I want you to go on your phone and I just want you to type in how many, go ahead, Calhoun, how
I'm
many
doing it right now.
negative thoughts do we have each day?
How many negative thoughts do we have every day?
Could you go ahead and read that for us, sir?
I never even thought to ask Google this question. Let's see. Let's see what it says. There's no universally agreed upon number, but studies suggest a range of negative thoughts per day around 11 for a specific poll to much higher figures if you include repetitive thoughts. Research widely cited in articles suggested that a significant majority, up to 80% of our 12,000 to 60,000 daily thoughts can be negative, with 95% of them being repetitive. So 80% of our 12,000 to 60,000 daily thoughts can be negative, with 95% of them being repetitive. Wow.
Right? That's a lot of thoughts.
Yes. Wow.
That is constant. That keeps us in a constant state of stress.
I mean, that's like a
cage.
That's like a cage built around your whole thought process.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And getting people to understand this. So when the Bible talks about those powers and principalities that we are facing, if we just kept the math, real simple, that means if you have 12,000 thoughts, and I'm going to simplify it just as an example, 10,000 thoughts. Out that 10,000 thoughts, 80%, that's 8,000 out of 10,000 are negative.
Wow. And this is a study. I mean, this is not something
this is research.
Right. This is research.
Right?
This is science.
Right. So this is, that state. So when we're talking about, the ignorance, that light is power, that knowledge is power, we have our abilities within us that we can control and be in charge of this light. Right. And I'm not saying this in a negative way, but there's really nothing out here. Right.
Wow.
I mean, we can't wait for somebody to change our condition or magically say, hey, you all need to know this information. Do you all know? We don't know.
Right. Right.
So we have to be able to take care of our problems. So the reality is we have the power to change our circumstances. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, you know, you hear a lot of cliche scripture. I guess that's the best way. You know, as a man thinketh in his heart, you know, or a woman thinks in her heart, so is he or she, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to hear this scientific research, it really has me, you know, I'm at a pause right now because that means this ability that we have in order for us to properly process scripture or life in general, we have to. I'm asking the question now: do we have to stop and just evaluate our thoughts? How do we stop doing that? How do we stop this negative thinking?
Yes, yes, exactly. Right. We have to kind of take a moment, right? And one of the my favorite Bible quotes is Lamentations 3:14. It talks about let us test and examine our ways. We got to take a look at ourselves, right? One of the famous, renowned psychologists, his name was Amos Wilson.
Yes.
And he always talked about power, and he talked about how we waste a lot of time trying to transform other people
Right.
instead of transforming ourselves.
Wow. Wow. I'm guilty again, Dr. Ford. Yes, indeed. Because if you could transform yourself, I mean, that speaks to how you can even affect other people.
Yes.
Wow.
So now we're in a place, right? It's 2025, right? And like I said, I'm gonna making sure it's relevant to
Yeah.
what's going on here now, right? There was a recent article in which Mr. Dillon knows he is the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce president. And long time ago, churches and schools, we learned a lot at home. Right, we will learn certain information about how to do what we need to do with these abilities and these skill sets. And so he recently reported that there's some issues regarding the schools
Right.
in Bahamas, right? In which he was saying, hey, we have a great literacy rate, 95%. We have over 90% of the children attending school. People are going to school. And he says, my personal belief is we are going about it the wrong way. We are teaching to teach people how to pass tests rather than teaching people how to learn. And we have got to figure that out. The consequences are going to be that the cost of labor will continue to skyrocket because you end up having to pay for non-productive staff and less efficient staff. And we're already at high price labor locations. So that doesn't bode well for us in the long run when it comes to having jobs and being able to compete in a global market.
Right.
Why is this important?
Yes.
1 Thessalonians 4:11-12 encourages people of faith to aspire to live quietly, to mind your own affairs, and to work with your hands.
That in the
as we
Bible?
instructed you. Yes, 1 Thessalonians.
Say that again,
4.
man. That's a Bible verse?
Thessalonians. Yes, it is.
Man, please say that again.
Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 4:11-12, right? Aspire to live quietly and to mind your own affairs and to work with your hands as we instructed you, so that you may work properly before outsiders and be dependent on no one.
That's powerful. That's powerful. 1 Thessalonians 4:11-12.
Yes.
Please write that verse down, people.
Go
ahead.
Self-sufficiency and independence through diligent work. Right? And so why is this important? Because we have to always remember within historical context, what was the purpose of education initially? Education under racism, white supremacy for melanated people was about basic literacy and religious conversion.
Okay. Wow.
Right? And that religious conversion, unfortunately, for a lot of us, it was not about the benefit for us, but it was that person that comes for another, 2 Corinthians, comes to you and preaches a Jesus other than Jesus we preach, or if you receive a different spirit, a different gospel. This was about removing our true religious identity as
Right.
Nazarites and people of faith.
Okay.
So
Wow.
when we're going back, talking about once again the mental state and how it affects your ability is going to be affected if you are not in reality of what's actually happening here with us right now. So if knowledge is not to be confusing and thereby ineffective, it must be in sequence.
Okay. So, Dr. Ford, I'm listening to everything you're saying, and this is a power packed presentation you got for us today because what I'm hearing is we're not even in our own mentality. I mean, we've been converted to the religion of the people who gave us the education system in the first place. Here in the Bahamas, that would be the British. So that means our thoughts have been anglicized. And so we're not even thinking in our original or indigenous thought patterns or sequence, as you just mentioned. Am I getting you correct?
Yes, you are, because no one ever wants to sit and ask. We all have to test and ask ourselves, how do we live in the image and likeness of the beast?
That's it there. Yes. So you say,
Right?
yeah, let's dive into that.
Right. And so when you look at what does that mean, right? Because Romans 12:12, do not conform to the patterns of this world. But a lot of us have conformed to the patterns
Yep.
of this
Because
world.
we need that job. We need that job, Dr. Ford. Dr. Ford, I got to pay my bills.
It could be something as simple as how you manage stress,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of us might overeat, or we
Mm.
drink,
Yeah.
or we try to find some way to escape
Right.
sometimes the reality of what's going on in our life, right? And so if someone removes your style of dress, how you supposed to navigate the foods that you eat, right? Psalm 16:11 talks about you make me known to the path of life, a path of life, right? We had communities, and these communities were church centered, church based, and we're no longer doing those things.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I have a good friend of mine in Abaco, which is an island just north of New Providence. And he repeated what you said at the end there, where we've kind of fallen away from just a more scriptural way of life. Like he blames so many things that going on in this country on just that. You know what I'm saying? So I thought about him when you said that. I as I'm listening to the biblical quotes, and I see the sequence that you're utilizing, as you brilliantly explaining this reality to us. I wonder how many of the people that you see on a regular basis, as you begin to share this type of information with them, how receptive are people to what it is you're saying to us right now today?
Oh, they're very receptive because the first thing, if you go to any provider, right? The first thing I have conversations whenever I'm talking to my people, I'm like, okay, let's identify your learning style.
You're learning
Are
what?
you your learning style?
Okay.
Are you
Yep.
auditory? Are you kinesthetic? Are you visual? So, as a counselor, the first couple of things, besides you coming here, the first thing we have to do is give you some basic fundamental knowledge of biology, geography, education, economics, your childhood, some basic things that you understand how this thing called your life works.
Right.
Willie Fuller, he used to talk about teaching, and he created a 4-part system. And I always kind of center on the 2 parts, right? The first part, right, of teaching is telling about or writing about culture in order to produce the most constructive results,
Okay.
right? What is culture? Culture is what people do.
Okay.
And we teach. Number 2 is telling the truth about yourself, about everybody else's history. So that might mean your history, your mom's history, the history of the community you in, also the history of what was going on, the context you live in, because we can't just separate you from a context.
Right. Right.
So there, I want to make sure, right? Because I know our time is short, but and I know we got to pack a lot in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so when we are talking about that negative self-talk, when we are talking about the negativity, right? That ignorance that we're fighting, there are research studies that talks about the ability, going back to that brain, to increase our gray matter and increase our intelligence and our memory.
Wow. You can increase that.
You can increase that,
Okay.
right? And so one of the things when it comes to school, right, or when it comes to learning, is we always think that one, it's about memory, how much information a person can know, how many facts that they can know.
Yeah.
But the human brain, right, has a third kind of memory that is fundamental to its growth. So when people are learning, we're not thinking, like, how are we making this baby's brain expand? There's a third memory called autobiographical memory.
Autobiographical memory. Okay, I'm learning today. Thank you.
Right? And it's the stories of who we are and what we stand for and how we want the world to be.
Wow.
That's true religious identity. That's what the great teachers, Marcus Garvey, Francis Cress Welsing, Niam Akbar, right? These are the Yeshua, the Messiah,
Yep.
knowledge of self. We have to know this. So if we're not in our image, if we're not practicing habits to kind of reduce the hypertension, to lower our cortisol levels, to drink more waters, then Malachi 4:6, we have to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest I come and I smite the earth with a curse. And the curse is, take a look at our children.
Wow. Wow. We're living in a curse because of our
We are
behavior.
afraid. We are afraid to teach them about being Black.
Wow.
We are afraid of teaching them how to be divine. We're afraid to teach them that they got this power within. And this is why we need families of true faith to understand that we can pray. Then how are we praying? And we are the most religious, scripturally based people on the planet. We have the most children in the jails today.
Wow.
How are we shouting and kicking over benches and all of these things? And we see our children are addicted and killing each other in the streets.
Wow.
We got to reorient ourselves to our true religious identity. Right? We have to get back to the record to talk about our glory, to talk about our renowned history. So we have to read our Bible, but we have to read it it's very practical. If you read it through the Nazarite eyes, through eyes of true faith. So what they did, University of Southern California,
Right.
they took 65 kids from the hood, low income, right? Stable environments. It was a mixture of all kids of color, right? So it was Asian kids, Latin kids, melanated kids, right? And they took these kids and they took them between the ages of 14 and 18. It was a 5-year study. And they started giving them information about, who they are, right? And they started looking at not just who they are, but how they are connected to their communities and how that connects them to the future and how that connected them to a sense of purpose. What they noticed is that these studies, their brain system started to change.
Say what?
Yes, they started to notice that the children, the way they were thinking, started to change. In the brain, you have two systems. You have like an executive control system. It's a network that kind of focuses on how you do goals, how you learn, how you concentrate. But then you have what's called a default mode network.
Okay.
Right? It's about transcending the here and now. It's about the children not only thinking about their lived experiences, but imagining the future and using their compassion and emotions and gratitude on a higher level. And these children were able to think outside the box. They
Okay.
were no longer limited to ABC. Here's spot one, one, two, three. They were able to grow their brain. But the key was identity development.
Okay. See, and this is so important as these children are now back in the classrooms. And this type of conversation, like I need the Minister of Education, I need the Minister of National Security, I need the Christian Council. I need them to hear these stories that you're giving us, these facts that you're giving us, these studies that you're giving us, because there are answers to how we can positively affect the children, right? As opposed to just staying on this hamster's wheel and they say spinning wheels, not going anywhere, but just going through the motion. And so I'm very appreciative of everything that you're sharing with us today. I want to, if you don't mind, I want to see if we get a call or two in here. If people want to ask you a question, is that okay?
That's perfect.
All right,
That is
I'll
fine.
open up the phone line. We'll see if anybody calls. It's 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 325-4259. Of course, in the family of islands, it's 242-300-5720. We are powered by BTC on the text line. That's 422-4796. 422-4796. Of course, we're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com. We're also on cable Bahamas channel 969 or BTC Flow channel 622. Our special guest today, Dr. Nicole Ford, and she's highlighted so many different, in my estimate, answers to some of the problems that we're facing in the schools, in the churches, in our homes, just by Dr. Ford paying attention to identity. You use this term autobiographical learning. Is that what it's called? Say it again.
Autobiographical memory.
Memory. So
Right. And so
go ahead.
when I'm talking to my clients, it's about understanding that their mind can change, it can grow. Right? This is the whole field of neuroplasticity. But in order to help it grow, the mind has to engage with deep, powerful ideas. And sometimes we have to work backwards. That means we retrace the past, we blueprint the present. You have to honor that mother and father.
Okay.
Right? Understand what worked in the past, we keep. The things that didn't work, we can modify.
Okay.
So then our young people and old people, we can engage in a way where we can co-create together, right? In our society, in our world, a better place. So when we're thinking about learning and the learning processes, it's about enabling young, old, right,
Yeah.
rich, poor, to think about the kind of world that we want to live in, but also the kind of world we want to create. That's good education.
I agree.
And
And Dr. Ford, I'm wondering because in many instances there seems to be such a huge disconnect between the younger generation and the older generation, or sometimes even between parents and their children. Is that something that you're seeing a lot in your practice? And if so, how are you dealing with it?
yes, a lot of times, once again, going back to that negative script, some limiting beliefs. Those
Okay.
limiting beliefs, those negative scripts, sometimes we have negative scripts about who our parents are because we assume we grow, but we don't allow other people to grow.
Wow.
Because if it didn't happen in front of my eyes, if I wasn't there to watch it, it don't exist.
Right.
But people grow.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to ask yourself, you have to stop and you have to literally ask yourself, okay, where is this thought coming from?
Right.
Identify the thoughts, right? Identify the beliefs. And this is important. This is important because once you identify the belief, then you can challenge it. Sometimes we just let the negative stuff go through our mind unfiltered.
Right.
Just this
We
was
don't
doing
even
what
know
I
that's a
did.
thing. You saying identify the thought? I'm like, what do you mean identify a thought? Like, that's a thing? You can identify it?
You can identify your thoughts,
Yeah.
right? You can literally, sometimes it's about not just reading, but it's also observing your own life. So if you have thoughts, for example, I'm a failure, or I don't deserve happiness, or I'm not good enough, those thoughts, like planting in the garden, they're like little seeds.
Okay.
And the garden is your mind. And
Right.
you're planting these seeds or these messages from childhood too. They shape the thoughts, they shape your feelings and actions, and they're going to reinforce this negative self perception. They're going to reinforce this an inferiority complex that we often have. So once you recognize the negative thought pattern, right, that you believe holding you back, find counter evidence. Look for proof of examples that contradict that negative belief.
Okay.
Challenge it. Don't say it's one and done. Well, so as a man thinketh, so shall it be. Wait a minute now. What if this is
Right.
not the original thought?
Okay.
You can cultivate positive beliefs. So if you have that 80%, what we doing with that 20%? You can actively replace those negative thoughts with more positive, empowering ones. And it's not one of those, oh, boom, I just feel good. I'm a good person. What actions? It requires actions.
Ah, that's key. We got a text here, Dr.
Right?
Ford. Good day. What if a parent doesn't honor the children? Do you still check when they don't want you to? So that's the texter. What
Can
if,
you repeat the last part? If the parents don't honor the children,
do you still check when they don't want you to? So,
check what part?
so
That's
I'm
the part
just
I don't understand. Check.
so they're saying I'm just gonna interpret it for you.
hmm
If a parent doesn't honor the children, so should the children, I guess, respect the parents if the parents aren't respecting the children?
If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna say it in a way like this about when you don't control your own environment,
Okay.
right? Because it's still about the environment, right? A person goes to the library. I don't own the library, right?
Right.
And there's certain rules about that library. They might say be quiet or you have to leave the premises,
Right.
right? So you can still have an adverse or negative environment and use that as fuel, as in, hey, my mom got it. Respect her rules. Let me go ahead and make sure I focus on these grades so I can get a scholarship, so I can leave and go to school and have my own place.
Okay. So
So the
so
respect is still there. If a
yeah.
person goes to jail, you still got to follow the rules of that environment because you don't control it.
So as children, as we're being reared, we may not feel like our parents, are quote unquote honoring us or are looking out for our best interests, but you're saying, listen, you got to work in that environment. You don't control the environment. And eventually, if you set yourself up well enough, you can be out of there and in the type of environment you want. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's still a part of discipline, right? Some of us had bad, abusive, neglectful environments.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not the first generation, but we still continue to cultivate what is in my control. My control is if I know my parent, for lack of a better word, but still honoring our mother and father so your days can be long. If I know my parent is a stickler for a clean house, I'm doing things so we can minimize contact. My
Right.
room is clean, the dishes are straight,
Right.
dinner is made up.
Right.
I am still controlling how she reacts because I do my part.
Right.
Does that make
No,
sense?
that makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. This next texter says you have a parent that didn't love the child from birth. Okay, left the
That happens too.
left the baby in the hospital, then gave it away. The child is grown. Should the adult still check for the living parents, although the parent doesn't have love for the child? So this is a person who may have been that person who was left. They're asking, should I be checking for the parents who didn't check for me?
Okay. So first, let's talk about that trauma. Right? And that would be the first place I would say is we got to talk about the trauma script. Right? We got to talk about what happened first. So before we even get to mom and dad on a 1 to 5 scale, it's going to be like, first, where are you at mentally? How
Right.
do you feel about what happened?
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect where you are now? Right?
Yes.
How do we do that? We
Mm-hmm.
have to talk about this childhood of abandonment,
Mm-hmm.
rejection,
Mm-hmm.
feeling unwanted,
Right.
feeling unloved. And then once we identify those things, now we have to cultivate things that's going to counter that.
Okay. Okay. And that's
And
so in your field, that's what you do. You help people to find the ways to counter these things.
yes.
Okay.
And so if you had a childhood neglectful parent, right? Once you counter that abandonment, once you are able to look at your trauma and get to a place where you are starting to feel more safe and you are still building self worth. I'm worthy. And you are challenging the negative thoughts. And you sometimes even take relationship risk. It might not be initially with that biological parent. It might be through someone else where you're feeling safe enough to be around people based off of reciprocity,
Okay.
right? Because we make sure people earn it.
Mm-hmm.
People still have to earn it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so there is when the Bible say, we got to forgive and we have to love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of that is learning how to love and cultivate the divinity within yourself. But you have to be connected to other people that's going to give you examples of that as
Okay.
people of true Christian faith,
Right. Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that, then you need to be part of communities of faith, for example, the Holy Catholic Church, right,
Mm-hmm.
of the Black Messiah, that not only show you how to heal from that, but they create an environment of, hey, let's get to work. Hey, you worthy, right? There's a system, there's a way of life, there's a path of life. Here's some prayer, here's some meditation. Here's some exercise. Why? Because we have to regulate your parasympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
Because since young, you have been overexposed to stress and trauma, and now are dysregulated.
Okay. Okay.
And these things, the prayer, the meditation, the reading the scripture, the doing the good work, now you're cultivating different habits to
Mm-hmm.
keep yourself in a more mindful state.
Right. Right.
Does that make
It
sense?
makes total sense, and I wish you had more time, but I know you got to run to do this great work of yours with another
Yes.
client. I was your client today, but I appreciate it.
So we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. So just
Yeah.
remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can renew our mind. Romans 12:2,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can do that, but you have to set your mind on being amongst those people, being amongst those individuals that want to do the same. Because there's two types of people in this world. For the young lady thinking about the parent,
Yeah.
agreeable and disagreeable. I'm either one or the other. I would either go forth this day and make everybody's life miserable, or I will go forth and not allow anyone to make my life miserable. And
Powerful.
then you begin your day. I want her to do some deep breathing. I want her to take some deep, full breaths. I want her to take a moment of mindfulness. And I want her to go within. Have a great day. Let's get it right Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, indeed. This Dr. Nicole Ford with us all the way from Chicago, Illinois today. Is it cold up there right now?
It is a wonderful 65 degrees.
Okay, that's freezing for us. That's freezing for us. But I know that's not cold for Chicago. that's like the deep part of the Bahamas winter. 65? Oh no, we ain't going to school today. No, but I do definitely thank you for your time. I know that what you said today definitely impacted the listeners in some way, shape, or form. I think people really, really are listening because you brought it a different way with regard to, smoothly inserting the scriptures into the conversation. I thought that was very powerful. I want to wish you a beautiful rest of the day, and thank you so much for your time. We'll bring you on another time, and you can spend the whole day. But thank you so very much.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Namaste, my sister.
Namaste.
I was Dr. Nicole Ford, who really took the time to share some ideas that I pray we can, bring into to our schools. This idea of autobiographical and did you know you could actually grow your brain? You could grow the gray matter in your brain. You could do that. See, Kermit stopped looking at me. Kermit started staring at me when I said that. You could grow your brain, Kermit. You wasn't listening. You was walking around. There was some powerful things we shared today, Kermit. But we got to run to the news right now. When we come back, we can chime in a little bit more on what Dr. Ford was talking about. But also, we had a question from yesterday that I want to dive into about the JCNP and Junkanoo and when things can get back to normal and the Junkanoo Authority and of course, whatever else you may want to throw in there. I'll just continue our open line from yesterday in the second part of the show. But thank you so very much for being here on Guardian 96.9 FM Guardian Radio. Today, my name is Kahunan Kusara. We'll be back right after this.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Chicken lovers, listen up! Popeyes is serving it up for you! Get 5 pieces of juicy, hand-battered, bone-in chicken for just $10. That's right, 5 pieces of Louisiana-style flavor, fried to golden, crispy perfection for only $10. But don't wait, this deal won't last forever. Head to your nearest Popeyes today and grab your 5-piece for just $10. Popeyes, where the chicken's always worth the hype. Available for a limited time only.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from around the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
This week at Shoe Depot, you can buy 2 pairs of shoes and get a 3rd pair of equal or less value at 50% off. Yes, that's right. On news and get a 3rd pair half price. No need to throw away your hard-earned money this back to school. Plus, VAT is taking a summer break, so all our shoes are VAT-free. It's perfect for all those school shoe purchases, tennis, and maybe something for yourself too. Stop by Shoe Depot in Golden Gates Plaza or Palmdale Plaza today and save.
Don't settle for ordinary when you can have the Farmhouse King only at Burger King Nassau. It's back! Sink your teeth into 100% flame grilled beef, stacked with crisp bacon, melty American cheese, crispy onions, a fried egg, and the bold sauce that adds the perfect kick for a flavor sensation fit for a king. Grab the Farmhouse King as a combo with fries and a drink, or go all in with the Farmhouse King's Feast. It's bigger, it's better, and it's only at Burger King Nassau.
Running low on summer funds? Squeeze every drop of fun out of your summer with Fidelity Personal Loan. From backyard upgrades to family getaways, Fidelity is here to help. Call 356-7764 today.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. You want.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Nothing beats a Chickchani Challenge. On September 27th, we're bringing the action, a 5K course packed with 20 thrilling obstacles. Start and finish at Fusion Superplex with energy, fun and excitement all around. First time? No problem. Try the Chickchani Light version, built just for beginners. Got kids? Ages 3 to 7 can take on their very own Chickchani Kids Challenge. And this year, we're turning 10. So grab your team, mark your calendar at chickchanichallenge.com to sign up today. Thanks to our sponsors Fusion Superplex, Guardian Radio 96.9, Kalina, RBC, Advantage Insurance, Party Pilots Rentals and Events, Fincastle Media Group, Powerade, Click and Art of Graphics.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Guardian Radio Today, the September 3rd edition of our show. The rains are down. I can't see outside, but I could hear the thunder and I could hear the rain pouring. So I pray that those of you who are on the streets are being safe, and those who may have leaky roofs, etc. I definitely have been there. I know how you feel. So I just pray that you get through this rainstorm as best you can. I know the children are going to be leaving school in another couple of hours, so the streets will be wet. So please, as you're driving by, make sure you don't splash people walking. Pay attention to the streets, and just take your time. You know what I mean? So we again want to thank Dr. Nicole Ford for being with us for the first hour of today's show. I pray that it was something that assisted you in some way as we get back into the new school year, get back into the new traffic season, and deal with mental health. Today we had an open line, and there were some things that were kind of left on the table that I wanted to allow people to discuss or talk about today. There was a texter yesterday who was asking about and I'm just pulling up a story to read a little bit. The JCN had suspended Junkanoo activities until further notice following the government-proposed authority. The texter was asking about whether or not the suspension had been lifted or if it would be lifted soon. And I'm going to read a little bit from, this is an eyewitness news story, all right? And this is all the way from July 22nd, 2025. Devontae Hanna, all right, would have written this. It says, Nassau, Bahamas, the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence has reportedly suspended all Junkanoo practices and parades, government's controversial Junkanoo Authority bill. In a strongly worded statement, the JCNP says it does not accept the proposed bill, which they argue undermines 21 years of self-management since former Prime Minister Perry Christie empowered the Junkanoo community in 2004. It's puzzling why the government would wish to reverse the decision after 21 years of self-determination, harmony, and success, the JCNB said. The corporation alleges that political interference and a disgruntled group of Junkanooers with ties to high-ranking officials are attempting to dismantle the JCNP, even offering jobs to members in exchange for support of the proposed new government-run Junkanoo body. They've also made it clear if the government takes over, Junkanoo as we know it will shift from a community tradition to a paid performance, which the JCNP would need $45 million annually to deliver. All right. Since then, there has been some public, all right. There's still not, overarching agreement or harmony between the Junkanoo community and the government. On the 11th of August, 2025, the government held the first public consultation on this new Junkanoo authority. Before that, there were mixed views, right, from the Junkanoo community. But I wanna dive into this, and of course, whatever else you may wanna jump into. I'm happy to know that the minister is saying, Right Honorable Mario Boleg is saying that it's not going to affect this year's parades, right? They still will have to do a lot of things to get the authority in place, if it comes to fruition. So I'm happy to know that this year parade, I want to say will go without a hitch. We'll see, but I pray that's the case. I know that we as Bahamians, we love Junkanoo. I don't think, however, that we really understand the intricacies of what it takes to have this parade, especially in Nassau, brought to Bay Street and Shirley Street every year. I, for one, I've had an opportunity to get close enough to Junkanoo to at least appreciate what that is like. But I think for the most part, we just love Junkanoo. We just know Junkanoo is going to happen. But I don't think we understand the dedication, the self-sacrifice, and quite frankly, the personal finances that it takes to put a whole parade together. All right. And we've heard the numbers of $20-30 million being spent by the Junkanoo community every year to bring these parades to Bay Street and Shirley Street, respectively, right? And like I said, there's a whole another conversation that I know I want to have about this whole reality of Junkanoo and what it is that we use with regard to crepe paper and all the different things. That's another conversation. But I want to open the lines today, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, the Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. Our text lines today, 422-4796. Caller, you're live on Guardian Radio today.
Hi, good day. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'll be good. In regarding to this Junkanoo thing, let me tell you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly who's in charge of that thing with, I won't call his name,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's him and his wife. They are all over this thing for the money reason, all right? So here's a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And because I remember as a child, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And my people were from the community, West Street, going up on the hill by St. Francis, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Getting dressed like around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You put on your nice, what you get for Christmas, the overall,
Mm-hmm.
And you go up there, and you're so glad with, you understand?
Yeah.
And you could stand around, and some aunties you ain't see for years.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't see, you understand?
Yeah.
That was Junkanoo.
Yeah, I have a picture in that same area as a little boy, getting ready to go wash. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You hear?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody said, once you find one space,
Mm-hmm.
they used to have the bleachers, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but you could stand around, and then you hear that Junkanoo come with, what he named Sweden? I think he died, not that Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Then they reach out, man, listen, everybody cheer.
Yeah.
But now you're putting this money into it. That's why it's causing all this foolishness. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
the love of money is the root of all evil.
Mm.
Hey, okay, you want to have your own thing? Go in the sports center.
Mm.
All right, so let's y'all want that.
Well, look like that might be what happened. I mean, that's one of the things that's been put on the table. I heard Gladstone Road.
Yeah, but I don't care where they have it.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But wait, me as a child and all my good childhood memory.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ain't gonna erase that out of my head. Or because you want money today. Everything people want money for, money,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't mind. All right,
Mm-hmm.
money answer it. Or the Bible tells you that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, man, this is a tradition.
Yeah.
You hear? If you want to do that, you'll go with them set with Junkanoo Carnival and whoever. Go in the sports center.
Mm.
Have all of that. Have a different promotional whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But leave the memories of people like me.
Mm.
You hear me? Leave our memories alone. Because today, the only thing you could do now with Junkanoo, you go on maybe Shirley Street. You get a good sight, and it even ain't the full show.
Mm-hmm.
But leave that alone. Leave whatever you call it, the but you know that sound. When you get that sound with the drums coming up against the building. We're going
the echo, yeah, I know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Leave that alone. For God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it alone before our ancestors don't come hide you.
My Lord.
Anyway, you have a nice day, baby.
You too. Thank you for the call. And I appreciate the caller. And that's why I want to have this conversation, because I don't really think people understand. When I read that the JCNP, basically gave a bill of $45 million to the government if you want to take over this parade and pay us. That's close to the money when they were doing these studies. Dr. Nicolette Bethel did a study, and I think the number may have been $30+ million that people are literally spending out of their own money. Out of their own pockets. I don't think we really appreciate that there already is a lot of money being spent. I had a caller the last time we had this conversation say that Junkanoo shouldn't be paid. You should just be out there for the love of the culture. I 100% disagree, right? But let me get to the next caller here on Guardian Radio Today. Caller, you're live on Guardian Radio Today. Caller going once. I can hear
Hello?
you. Yeah, go ahead.
Good day. How you doing?
I'm well, man. Thanks for calling.
I can't hear you too good, but I can say what I have to say.
Sure.
Junkanoo isn't really, Junkanoo is an evil thing, you know.
You think it's evil?
Junkanoo is an evil and wicked thing. That isn't Christian at all, you know.
You don't think so? Okay. Why you say that?
Because all the blood and sweat and tears we putting into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go and we sit down and have a good time watching these costumes up and, you know, it's like worshiping idols.
You think the people worshiping the costumes?
That's what it be. You wouldn't want to see what would happen if you touch one of those costumes or.
But if
something happened to one of those costumes.
if someone touch your car in the wrong way, and you say, you know, don't touch my car because I paid all this money for this car, that mean you worshiping the car?
Well, if I thought in Christianity, someone touched my car, it's no thing. That's only iron. That don't feel clean. That don't.
So what if they take a key and they start scraping their name in it? That's okay too.
Pardon?
What if they take a key and start scraping their name in it? That's okay too.
You know, I'll get upset, but I wouldn't want to kill them or fight them.
I ain't saying you should kill them, but you would be upset because, come on, that's a paint job you got to do, and I think that's the same way.
What is going on out there?
Okay.
The wickedness that's going on out there, you know. In the crowds and stuff. And then another thing is this. They take our taxpayer money, right? They pay for our benches, the bleachers. They pay for boundaries to keep us out. We got to pay for seats. They taking our money and doing this. And we got to pay for seats.
But on Bay Street, you got to pay. But Shirley Street, you ain't got to pay.
Shirley Street, in the back, road. That's where all the stuff, that's where everything's going on.
Right. So
you ever go in the back there and stand up?
Yeah, man. Let's go to Junkanoo. So you was go to Junkanoo.
Street is only so big.
Yeah, you was go to.
The crowd would can't afford these seats. It's half end up in the back there.
Yeah. So you was go to Junkanoo.
They want to charge us for these things. This is our money.
So you want to answer me? Or you was go to Junkanoo?
Anyway, thanks for my input. Let me put my little.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you calling. Even though it evil, he's go, buddy. He ain't answer. But that's a yes for me. That's a yes for me, buddy. But listen, I remember being taught that narrative that Junkanoo was evil and that it wasn't Christian. And that's a lie from the pit of hell. I ain't just talking to you, Carl. I talking to anybody who thinking like that. That Junkanoo is a remnant of our African identity that remains after being whitewashed as a people for 52 years of independence and hundreds of years of just being colonized. You understand what I'm saying? That's your opinion, though. You know what I mean? I ain't just talking to you, caller. There are people who feel that way. But unfortunately, anything that's African, anything that's black is said to be wicked and evil. And if you really feel that way, then Jesus must be evil too, because he was black, right? So at the end of the day, this conversation about money, right? I don't think people understand that you cannot go to Bay Street without money. The seed money that the government provides for the Junkanoo groups, especially the A groups, I might as well let you know that can't really build one costume, one lead piece properly. Okay, that might be a banner, maybe. Okay, if you understand how much money is spent. Don't even mention building the costumes, but you have to pay people in trucks when you transporting these costumes, right? All of the things that the JCNP has been doing for the past 21 years, and I don't hold no. The people say you don't hold no water for people. I hold no water for nobody. I just letting y'all know what I know, right? If the government and it's I heard Aaron and CA Nuri this morning, right? And this narrative of the government ain't be doing that, and this Junkanoo authority can be independent. Y'all believe that? You believe it can be independent? What does that look like? Right? Who's gonna put the independent people in the position to be independent? These are the questions I have. I mean, if you have a different understanding of it, please call 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, 5720. Why can't the JCNP continue to run the parades in Nassau and be at the forefront of any real money that could enter Junkanoo? Let me tell you what I mean. There's a conversation that's not being had about this whole situation, about the potential of Junkanoo and the fact that we can garner sponsorship from outside of the Bahamas. We could garner global sponsorship. Who is going to control that money? You understand? It's just me being a Bahamian trying to put some things on the table. All right? Let's run to the caller here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, man?
Right here, buddy.
I think you got to turn the radio down, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, I know they put a law into it. Now, I disagree with you, but I'm going to tell you, I'm the government sponsor, what, $30,000?
Yeah.
A lot of league cost that amount? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know you'll probably be in the limelight.
Yeah.
Now, I used to enjoy Junkanoo because I think that's the greatest art form I ever see. I mean, the things, but Bahamians is really naturally talented.
Mm-hmm.
But those costs come on. Someone's looking for real. I mean,
yeah.
I applaud that, man. I go for that.
Yeah. It's genius, man. It's genius. Yes.
Yeah, man. We got that ain't easy.
No.
Then they advance to the dancing group.
Yes.
They have the
choreographed dancing.
Yes, and that's you got to put that together too.
Exactly.
And that just started coming out a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the more money needed to be into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say this: the trouble only starts since that fellow won't bring out his group and won't carry a name with him. Yeah, that's when the trouble really starts.
That's when it started.
Yeah. You see, if that didn't come about, everything was going to be smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the same. If he did give his group another name, you not
this would have been deal.
You not no noise making in the market.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they need all he has to do is say, we the breakaway Wally Boys, or we name this, that.
Mm-hmm.
But, give himself another name.
Mm-hmm.
Other groups leave. Other groups. The one family came up from the Saxons, eh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they just said, he could break away, we can come rename our. So why he won't come, one can name, and, man, and then they get involved with it.
See,
this will cause a bunch of chaos right there.
Yeah.
That's one move. I used to go to Junkanoo. I mean, my younger days, I used to enjoy, man, just to go there and look and see how them brothers put them costumes together, man.
Yeah, you like me. Yeah.
We are genius. I must commend. But I think it didn't have to go on this far. Just because of who he is, that is the problem. Anyhow, thank you.
All right, thank you, caller. I won't get into the politics of the Valley Boys. I can be honest with you. That's something that I really think I wish could have been, dealt with internally. But the caller feels that may have been the kind of the crux of this whole matter. I can't say that's the case, but that's the caller opinion. This texter says, "Hi, Mr. Enius. If the government want to control the Junkanooers, then give them the money to rush. Those guys take their own money and build their costumes." See, that's what he's saying right now. That's what he's saying right now. You understand? Don't make it look like it just become a money thing. It always was about money. If you want to consistently be on Bay Street, you have to literally budget, right? That have to be a part of a budget. Every year, you got to take out one $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. If you just one individual, you won't hit 2 parades. You understand? And I don't think a lot of people understand that. So, this whole authority now, right? I'm happy to see that there's public consultation. I don't know if maybe that should have happened a long time ago. I don't think this is the first iteration of the bill or the proposed bill. but it is something that I know people have immense emotions about it, right? So now the other aspect of this conversation is the suspension of the parades, etc., right, by the JCNP. I come to you right now, caller. What I want people to also appreciate is that the JCNP is not a separate entity from the groups. The JCNP is made up of representatives of the groups that speak on behalf of the group. I don't think that's also being understood. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live.
How you doing, Uncle?
Hi, great, man.
First time caller.
All right,
I
so
have 3 points I'd like to make. I have a feeling that this is all in a move from back in the days. Remember, they didn't want Junkanoo on Bay Street. And if this is going to be how they say it's going to be, Bay Street is big. This is a move to move Junkanoo off of Bay Street.
Wow.
Believe me when I tell you that. My third one is that they have to realize the fans, the people who may not participate in Junkanoo still have a voice in this, because without the fans being there, Junkanoo still is not Junkanoo.
That's true.
So it's not just the JCNP, the government, and the Junkanoo group. It's the third, it's the fourth investment, and it's the Bahamian people.
That's true.
That goes there.
Yes.
And then there's one thing I like to see for them to improve in Junkanoo, so it could be really a cultural thing. Every year we notice that for the years gone by, from the music point of it, that Junkanoo, we know we have the talent, we do all these things into Junkanoo. But when you look at it, we need to tie in the bands, the Bahamian groups, and have the Junkanoo group pick a group, put their name in the bowl and pick a group and have them write a theme song for Junkanoo. That's where we could have the full culture into it.
Yeah.
And money can be wider dispensed, because you can make money from the music, it might sell internationally.
Yes.
And it could contribute back into the country, and the musicians will have a contribution into Junkanoo. The government should give them seed money in that instant, that whose song is the best song, or who the Bahamian vote for that song for that year will get, a prize money.
Wow.
So you have to tie Junkanoo, and we have to open up our vision and our mind for that. That's where these people like Freddie Munners and all them who have band and entertainers could get involved in Junkanoo from the musician part of it, where Junkanoo groups like Valley Boys and all them will be able to pick every year a band like any one of those, like KB them, who could write up a theme song for them, and that will promote Junkanoo in a full form of the Bahamian culture in it. Because when you look at the cost of Junkanoo, it's mainly because it's our culture, but so many things we have to import to express our culture, from the crepe paper, the feathers, the cardboard,
the glue.
So all these pay-ins at a high cost of Junkanoo. Mind you, the talent and the culture is ours. But what infuses that is that when you put that all together, it's the importation of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we need to put more emphasis on the themes for Africa. Because when we say it's our culture, but we still show what happened, and we show a culture from China, we show a culture from this. So if it's truly our culture, let's go deep into it and express it to the nation. If they want to move it internationally, give it that funding to do it. The Junkanoo groups, they come together, find the middle ground, because it is culture that we're talking about. It's not just the money part of it, because the money part of it has to be involved for culture to be expanded to the world. You know what I mean? So it's a greater conversation that needs to come together from both sides of the coin, and the Bahamian people have to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Whether they rush or whether they find themselves as a fan base of it, because it is everybody participation in it that makes Junkanoo what it is.
Right.
I remember that.
Appreciate it, man. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-425-9 in the family of violence, 242-300-5720. That's another call, Kermit. Yeah, let's get back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you're live.
Good day, Uncle. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm okay. Hey, Uncle, I don't know if I'll be a little off, but I think I'll be a little on, right? But guess what? I mean, okay, when we're looking at basic leadership and, say, gender and all of that, right? Do you think gender would cause a nation to be divided when, if you're elevated because you're a woman, you express that you break the glass ceiling and you encourage all the women to break the glass ceiling, even though that we have, 30% or 20% of the family, and you have, they're looking to get basically 100%. So do you think that this will be good for society when we express our sex to say, I'm a man, so I encourage all the men. or it would be better for us to say, well, I'm a Bahamian. I encourage all Bahamian, any Bahamian, man or woman, if you reach that pinnacle, you would be rewarded. What do you think would be better? To express your agenda when you arrive, to divide, or to be neutral so that they can be basically united?
So I understand the question, and I think ultimately with this conversation, you want a good representation of the population being represented in the House of Parliament. So if you're looking at the layout or the lay of the land right now in the House of Assembly, it's politics on the whole is a male dominated game or reality, right? But how can we have men only? I know that's not the case now, right? But that's how it was. How could we have a dominant number of men making decisions that, quite frankly, may not resonate with the women, right? I don't think we should just have a hard and fast approach to say you have to have 40% or however many percent women. I don't think that's necessarily the answer.
Yeah, I don't think we should even mention to say if it's a man or if it's a woman, or when you get there to be putting that like that, because in the public, they say you man, woman, on both sides, you have men or women, they feel that why you saying that, and they feel that they don't really like that because they're probably like to say the late up certain things that happen with them by women or men, and then you have this woman come and saying these things when you know the nature of women.
Well, I think the conversation that conversation is a conversation that the political parties need to have, because they are the ones who bring the candidates to us.
Hey, but another thing, but when I look at people in general, right? Hey, Uncle, now you as a human, right? When you in this life and you go out there, who you represent?
I gotta represent myself and my family.
Okay, but firstly, your uncle, you got to step on your uncle, and then it's you first, but your family is the paramount. Because without you, it ain't no family.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this, right? So, I mean, like the say persons who have no confidence in themselves, who they are identified as a human. Because when we look in the papers, I mean, when looking in the Guardian, right? My Guardian obituaries, right? I look through it every week, right? And it's sad to know that if you even to say, well, you look at the age of the person, and then you look at the picture, but you see this other thing where it's like basically, I don't know, you have to basically wonder if that's the person because of the wigs and all these other things. They take these photos and they put it in their obituary. You think it's right? Because a person's known people from childhood, will they be able to identify these people?
Most people don't know when they're gonna die, so they don't have they don't have an obituary picture ready. So they got to find the best picture they can put in there.
Yeah, but their relatives, don't you think it would be a better picture to put a picture that is actually the person with whoever they was in their life, to show the actual photos of them?
They can put
a bleached version or a tattooed or a hair out version or whatever.
But that's the person they remember. They're gonna put the picture of the person they remember.
Okay, so that was more important than like a fantasy. Hey, but you know what? My thing is when we talk about at least I mentioned about this feminization or the civil politics or whatever in our society, right? I have nothing against women, right? But you know what? I have a problem against humans when they can't be who they are supposed to be when they look in a mirror and they see themselves, but they alter themselves in such a way, bleaching, using all them big hair, eye, and all these foolishness, and when you to be, I saying it's police commissioner, governor general, any high office in this country, these younger women, they're lost. I tell you like when I go,
we gotta run to a break.
When I look at the past and they say like 50 years or 40 years ago, and you look at videos and stuff, and you see natural, you don't see no big and fat.
Yeah.
You see normal.
We gotta have a show just on this, but I gotta run to a break, my brother. And thank you so much for calling Guardian Radio today. My name is Dr. Cleveland W. Enius III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. We got to run to a break here on Guardian Radio today, here on Guardian 96.9 FM. Keep it locked.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Nothing beats a Chickchani challenge. On September 27th, we're bringing the action, a 5K course packed with 20 thrilling obstacles. Start and finish at Fusion Superplex with energy, fun and excitement all around. First time? No problem. Try the Chickchani Lite version, built just for beginners. Got kids? Ages 3 to 7 can take on their very own Chickchani Kids Challenge. And this year, we're turning 10. So grab your team, mark your calendar, and come celebrate with us. Visit chickchanichallenge.com to sign up today. Thanks to our sponsors Fusion Superplex, Guardian Radio 96.9, Kalina, RBC, Advantage Insurance, Party Pilots Rentals and Events, Fincastle Media Group, Powerade, Click, and Art of Graphics.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio Today. I am your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. We only have about 10 minutes or less left in the show. Let's run to the phone lines, and then I'll jump to the text line afterwards. Caller. Okay. That call is not coming. Let's run to the text line. This text that says, Anku, on the topic of gender, studies have shown that when women are in charge, women look out for their own interests statistically. However, studies also show that men look out for the interests of both men and women. Simple. If we elect women, they will seek their own interests and disregard the men and boys statistically. Man, name the study, man. What the study is? Let me see what else they're saying. And Cleaver was absolutely correct. When I look back at the black women of yesteryear, say the 1960s, they were conservatively dressed, well-disciplined, fit, and spoke eloquently. And some of them were not even the best educated, but they had self-respect. Now black women go to university and walk around with their privates hanging out. What have we become, boy? You're a lot on these women. First of all, I like to, when you start talking about studies, just name the study. When you say women only gonna look out for women, I find that hard to believe because women running the country as it is right now. And if you don't believe me, walk into any bank, any food store, any wholesale store, any store in the mall. Women on the ground, women on the front line, and they running, the households as well, right? Because unfortunately, as men, we either getting locked up or we don't like women no more, or things happening. So it ain't just men or women. the family has been compromised. Okay? What is sad and what I've seen in the past, and even, I guess, in the present, is that a lot of women don't want women to lead. That's the part that's kind of scary for me. When you start talking about a woman leading, you got women who just jump up and talk about, man's supposed to lead, woman ain't supposed to lead. And I'm like, okay, we don't have culture. That's why we saying these things. Let's run back to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Caller, you live.
My friend.
Yes, sir.
You on to something. Let me turn this thing down.
Yeah, please.
A minute.
Yes, sir.
Terribly sorry about that.
No problem, man.
Yeah, you on to something.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about the women that are now in charge.
Mm-hmm.
The Governor General,
Mm-hmm.
a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The Commissioner of Police,
Mm-hmm.
a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The head of the Senate, a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The Speaker of those Assembly, a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mr. Davis and Mr. Cooper is off the island.
Mm-hmm.
From the PLP was in power. Once Mr. Davis and Mr. Cooper is off the island, Ms. Glennis Hannah Martin is in charge.
Acting Prime Minister. Mm-hmm.
Acting Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Defense Force,
Mm-hmm.
if Mr. Cooper and Mr. Davis choose to carry the Defense Force, the gentleman that's in charge of the Defense Force, they have a woman and a man that is his deputy.
Mm-hmm.
9 out of 10 chances the woman will be in charge. The woman that take the whole country over. the 6, 7 top positions in the country
Woman.
is woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think, I heard the caller say that the women would look out for the women.
Yeah, that's a texter, yeah.
Could I say this as a man?
Yeah.
I believe then the women in charge, the country run a little better.
See, I'm glad you said it.
The country more, the women run the country more like a house.
Ah.
I've been running my house for the last 9, 10 years as a male of the passing of my wife.
Right.
But I still never believe I could have run this the way she would have run it.
I feel you.
Let's be real with this, man.
Mm-hmm.
And even when the women in charge,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like we get a little more done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See the woman, I mean, and brother, let's be real. Let's talk real.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk man. Let's talk real.
Mm-hmm.
The man, them eyes looking at so much different things. A lot of them being focused on getting the job. Most of the women come to do something. Now, mind you, get some chauvinist women too now.
Yeah.
But the real women, they come to get the job done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The woman ain't looking at no little short skirt, no tight pants. The woman ain't into that. The woman come to do their work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I work in government corporations under where women were chairman and men were chairman.
Mm-hmm.
The woman ain't looking at that.
Yeah. I think most of the permanent secretaries are women.
women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And thank God for that to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, though, you get some of them who are chauvinist.
Yeah, I agree.
But the majority of them means well, man.
Yeah.
So let us,
Get them a chance, man. Get them a chance.
Assembly, I think I live in a constituency,
Mm-hmm.
and I think as a member of parliament, let's not talk about the speaker part of it. Let's talk about just her being a member of parliament.
Mm-hmm.
The people that gravitate around this woman, the only next member of parliament I think ever was in Bamboo Town like this would have been a tennis and bed.
Wow.
The people gravitate to her, and she the little children, mother pop, and I hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody tell me they say this. When I move around with her, I hear this. Mother pop. I tell you sometimes I think they say mother pop,
Mm-hmm.
but they be saying mother pop.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and she's doing well.
Yes, she is.
And people like a Glennis Hahn are doing well.
Yes.
As members of, I'm not knocking the male members of parliament.
No, I with you.
But you have the people like the Joe Beck Colby, them get the young women and the young men, the young people, the people like a Leslie and those.
Mm-hmm.
I only can talk with them because only them are women members of parliament in parliament now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to make it sound like a PLB thing. But
no, I got you.
The women members of Parliament are doing well.
Yeah.
You don't hear much complaint with them, You can have one or two complaints, but you don't hear much complaint with the women member of Parliament.
I appreciate your call, my brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
The texter who talked about the study he sent a study in. Uncle, the study was gender differences in automatic in-group bias. Why do women like women more than men like men? This article by Laurie A. Rudman and Stephanie A. Goodwin was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in October of 2004, Volume 87, Issue 4, pages 494 to 509. Women look out for women. All right, we thank you for those statistics and the study. I'm going to read it. Maybe we'll discuss it one day here on Guardian Radio today, but thank you so much for that information. And I thank you all for listening, those who called. Thank Dr. Ford for joining us in the first hour of the show. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enius III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. I want to say continue to stay locked here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Namaste, family.